friend of mine sent me an article on Twitter that I'm going to read. And I have not read it, but a couple of people have brought this to my attention. So I'm going to share this here. It looks like it might be a little bit lengthy, but what else do we have to do? So I guess this is from The Guardian, and a couple of people have said they're talking about the Panthers and Lightning, and they're trying to draw comparisons between the two, including political. And so a few people have asked me to look at this, and so we're just going to read it. And I am not responsible for what The Guardian has to say. I'm only responsible for my own voice. And so while I'm reading it, I don't see the chat. So it says, blood bias in the Battle of Florida, how the NHL's dirtiest rivalry exposed hockey's old boy rot. Oh, here we go. All right, a Southern hockey feud has morphed into a clash of styles, politics, and privilege that mirrors America itself and exposes how deeply the NHL's power still skews. Oh, geez. It's going to be like this. Okay. The Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning rivalry was once a regional sideshow, a quirky matchup between two Southern expansion teams playing to half-empty arenas in polite indifference. But in the space of just a few years, it has mutated into the nastiest, most revealing feud in hockey, one that's exposed the NHL's double standards, cronyism, and cultural divide. Holy crap. I'm going to get a lot of laughs out of this, aren't I? See, preseason hockey is meaningless by design, a handful of perfunctory tune-ups that even hardcore fans barely notice in the run-up to opening night, when the games finally start to count. Yet, in the past week, the Panthers and Lightning turned a pair of exhibition contests into 3-hour dreams of violence. 114 penalties, totaling nearly 500 minutes in the box, 16 game misconducts, and one ejection who somehow picked up an assist on an 8th goal that shouldn't have counted. It was an all-out bedlam before the season even began, but the uneven fallout has raised uncomfortable questions about the sport. Are you guys are we having a good time or what? Okay, so here we are. Let's see. It all kicked off last Thursday when Florida's A.J. Greer sucker punched Tampa's Brandon Hagel in the head, a callback to last spring's playoff meeting between the teams, when Hagel's borderline hit on Panthers captain Alexander Barkov sparked Florida's defenseman Aaron Ekblad's retaliatory headshot that left Hagel concussed. Greer's cheap shot, punished with only a $2,000 fine, broke hockey's unspoken code. You never go after a player with a known concussion history, especially one that you've already injured. So on Saturday, Tampa iced the lineup of AHL enforcers and spent the night exacting frontier justice. The league's response, heavy fines and suspensions for the Lightning and none for Florida. Now, read what you just said they did. On Saturday, Tampa iced an AHL lineup of enforcers and spent the night exacting frontier justice. The league's response, heavy fines and suspensions for the Lightning, none for Florida. Well, and the first sentence of your dumbass paragraph tells you why there was nothing going to Florida. But okay. The ugly scenes revived an old suspicion that the NHL's disciplinary system protects its favorites. The Panthers' connections only make the optics worse. They're not going to go Colin Campbell, are they? Hey, they are. The league's director of hockey operations, Colin Campbell, is a longtime power broker whose son is a minority owner and assistant general manager of, you guessed it, the Panthers. The head of player safety, George Peros, my God. Jeez. The stupidity. My eyes are going to bleed from the stupidity. The head of player safety, George Peros, is a former Panther himself. 39 games? A decade ago, Campbell's leaked emails showed him berating referees, blah, 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 blah. Across the NHL, this latest bloodbath looked like business as usual, because it was. A vivid reminder that hockey's old boy network pulls the strings on a two-tiered system of justice. I don't know how these idiots even get through life. The bad blood has been brewing for years. For most of their existence, the Panthers were an afterthought, overshadowed by the more successful Lightning, who won their first of 3 Stanley Cups in 2004. Then they traded for Matthew Tkachuk, a brilliant, agitating forward, and hired a coach who encouraged the chaos. Overnight, the franchise became an almost comically ratty heel team, relentlessly annoying, gleefully abrasive, and somehow good enough to win anyway. They ran goalies, took liberties after whistles, and seemed to delight in their role as the villains of modern hockey. Which there's been a team that has done that and been the villains pretty much for the league's entire existence. It just changes from team to team. And this guy would be surprised to hear how Tampa won those 2 cups. Oh, here we go. Wait. Tampa, by contrast, I'm going to vomit. Tampa, by contrast, has built their dynasty on cool precision. A team that mixed speed, skill, and structure to win back-to-back cups in 20-21. To Lightning fans, Florida's rise represented something else, the triumph of cynicism of hockey as provocation rather than craft. Wow. I am so sorry for anybody that has this person in their life, because, I mean, to go through life with this narrow of a POV, to insinuate that the Panthers don't have mixed speed, skill, and structure, to insinuate that the Panthers don't use the structure has got to be one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest thing I've ever read in any hockey publication ever. It continues. The long simmering tensions finally exploded in April's postseason meeting, when Hagel flattened Barkov with what looked like a clean shoulder check, a hockey play at playoff speed gone wrong. The officials ruled it illegal because Barkov hadn't touched the puck. Hagel was slapped with a 1-game suspension. The next night, Ekblad, who'd already served a lengthy ban earlier in the season for PEDs, hunted him down and delivered a full-force shot to the head, concussing him. A retaliatory hit that earned just 2 games. And Florida went to win the series and their second straight cup, while Tampa were left muttering about double standards. So when Greer targeted Hagel again during a meaningless September preseason game, no less, the Lightning saw red. Coach John Cooper rested his stars and called up 6 players from the minors, 2 known enforcers among them, to ice a full lineup without exposing his smaller, skilled forwards. Within minutes, 32-year-old bruiser Scott Saborin, if that's how you say it, leveled Ekblad with a single punch that dropped him to his knees. From there, the night descended into absurdity. Brawls after every whistle. So this is interesting. I would like to point to the hypocriticalness. I'm going to pause right here. He admits that he leveled Ekblad with a single punch that dropped him to his knees. But I thought there was the unwritten rule that you don't go after guys that have had concussion history. Well, we all know Ekblad has a concussion history. So which one is it, dumbass? From there, the night descended into absurdity. Brawls after every whistle, fights in the penalty box with more than 300 combined penalty minutes, and so many ejections that both teams ended with 9 skaters. At one point, Florida's Nico Mikkola even picked up an assist, despite having been sent off minutes earlier. It's not every night an ejected player somehow helps extend an 8-0 lead before anyone notices. The next day, the discipline meted out by the NHL's Department of Player Safety came down squarely on Tampa. 6 players fined, 2 suspended. The organization docked $100,000 and Cooper fined another $25,000. Florida's Greer kept his token $2,000 fine. The perception was plain as day. The Panthers could do no wrong, and that sense of impunity is what turned a once anodyne cross-state rivalry into something much darker, a microcosm of how the NHL still protects its insiders and punishes its critics. And here comes the politics. The defiance fits neatly with the Panthers' broader identity. Under owner Vincent Viola, a billionaire financier and a one-time Donald Trump nominee for Secretary of the Army, the franchise has cultivated an overtly MAGA aesthetic. Wow. These people, they truly have, they have political, what do they call it, Trump? Political derangement syndrome. Everything is politics. Unbelievable. After their first cup win, team executives proudly visited Trump at the White House, presenting him with a custom 45-47 jersey. So don't all the teams go to the White House? Somebody can correct me if I missed that, but don't all the teams go? I could be wrong. Viola's longtime business partner, minority owner Douglas Sifu, who is our crazy guy. Every organization has one. The Panthers vice chairman and alternate governor, who also runs Virtual Financial, the high-frequency trading firm he co-founded with Viola. In May, Sifu was suspended indefinitely by the NHL after an inflammatory social media exchange with a Canadian fan where he invoked the Israel-Palestine conflict and Trump's 51st state taunts, a move that did little to distance the team from its hard-right image. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Jeez. This continues. Across the state, the Lightning's ownership has taken the opposite tack. Here comes the virtual signaling, right? Removing a Robert E. Lee statue from downtown Tampa, supporting diversity initiatives, and hosting some of the league's most inclusive heritage nights. Wow. So wait a minute. So he's trying to say that the league is protecting the MAGA team and not the woke team? What insanity what is this guy smoking? And please send me some. In miniature, the Battle of Florida now mirrors the United States itself. Grievance and aggression on one side, progressive branding on the other, both locked in a fight over what the sport and the country should be. My God. It must be hard to live in these people's heads. The irony is that this is all unfolded during what's meant to be the NHL's modern age of enlightenment. What? League executives boast about player safety and mental health awareness and evolving beyond the blood and guts spectacle of decades past. Yet its disciplinary machinery still operates with the opaque impunity of the old boys club. When New York Rangers owner James Dolan semi-publicly condemned the league's refusal to suspend Washington's Tom Wilson in 2021, the NHL didn't revisit the call. It fined the team $250,000 for daring to question it. Commissioner Gary Bettman scolded the Rangers for demeaning a league executive and declared such criticism unacceptable. The message was clear enough. Silence is rewarded, dissent is punished, and the culture that enables violence is the one most fiercely protected. This time, though, the silence has cracked. Around the league, executives and players are said to be quietly rooting for Tampa, not because they condone vigilante justice, but because they recognize the futility of appealing to a system stacked against them. The Panthers may have won the Stanley Cup for 2 years running, but they've become the embodiment of a league that rewards swagger and punishes accountability. And thank God for that, because if the NHL ever became the NFL, where you literally get penalized for taunting your opponent, most of us would stop watching. That's the NHL's biggest controversy of the year, erupted before a single regular season game had been played, says it all. The sport that keeps promising to modernize still can't stop celebrating its own anarchy. A league where power, not principle, decides who gets away with what and who gets left bleeding on the ice. Holy hell, in a handbasket. Wow. Holy crap. Yeah, the Lightning never played dirty. The idea, you've got, I mean, what's amazing to me is that on the one side, like, you know, you've got people, the MAGA people, all that, complaining about, you know, Pride nights and all of that stuff. And this guy thinks that the league is sticking up for the Panthers because of MAGA and Trump. Holy hell. Like the easiest thing in the world to do is to talk crap about that group of people. You know what I mean? So to think that the NHL is actually going the opposite direction, that's wild. I really, who's this guy? I don't want to pick on this guy. Let me see. I guarantee you I can know exactly what he looks like. Let's see. Yep, there he is. Brian Armen Graham. Yeah, he looks exactly like you would expect him to look. Hey, you know who this looks like? Hold on. I can say this without insulting him. I don't want to insult him, but I can say this without insulting him. You guys can tell me. Okay. You know who you guys have seen The Other Guys? Who here has seen The Other Guys? The movie The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and the other dude. This looks like the husband of the guy, Christineth, who starts running down the street. Nobody leaves my house unless you make love to my wife. He looks exactly like him with the sweater and everything. Am I wrong? That's exactly. Yeah, you get my wife's name. That's him. I swear to God, that's him. It's his doppelganger. All shaved. Yeah. Oh, my God. That's funny as hell. Jeez. The wife. Oh, man. All right. So I don't want to step in it any more than I already have, but that was sent to me. A couple people mentioned it. It was sent to me, and I figured, what the hell? We'll have some fun. I didn't see that coming. Like, I thought there might be a little bit of hub in there, but this guy actually, like, he's laying it out there. Like, yeah, Arnie Palmer alert. Yeah. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen The Other Guys, you got to see The Other Guys. What's the other guy's name? Will Ferrell. Who's the other guy? What the hell is his name? Real says, I think I have to stop watching the Panthers now that we're just a front for MAGA. Jeez. Now, yeah, Marky Mark. What the hell's his name? Wahlberg. Thank you, Craig. Now, all the teams, they go to the White House, right? That wasn't just the Panthers with Trump thing, right? I mean, they go, right? Vincent. How in the hell? It's just bad blood between the Lightning and, I mean, what's interesting is he lays out the case in a sense. Yeah, you think of what I'm thinking, aim for the bush. He lays out the case reasonably. He at least admits that it all started with the Hagel hit on Barkov. At least he had admitted that and threw that in there, even though he's trying to say it was somewhat of a clean hit. But how he got where he got, I mean, it's like, I think he just he has the idea of how he views the world, and he's just going to use whatever incident he can plug from to confirm his own narrative, right? Oh my God. That's wild. Yeah, because I mean, sure, Kazuma, right? It's going to be, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, just by definition, everything's divided, whatever you 50-50, 55-45. I mean, it's going to be people on both sides everywhere, wherever you go. It's just, I mean, the idea, like, the idea that that's the reason. And then, of course, you got to go for the Colin Campbell thing and all of that. It's like, what? Are we still on that? Now, I know the hockey guy put out a video. I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of it. I think maybe tomorrow morning, since I don't have a noon stream, I'll watch that and I'll just record my reaction and see, because I watched like the first 5-10 minutes of it. Clayton says it's almost like you take two physical teams that don't like each other, put them in a game where the outcome doesn't matter, and they're shocked they're going to take the opportunity to murder each other. Yeah, exactly. Real says we need to find the most progressive hockey team. That's got to be the Kraken, right? That's got to be the Kraken. Yeah. Oh my God, that was something. Jeez, I feel bad for people that feel that way though. Like that's got to be a really difficult way to go through life. Where I mean, if you can find politics in what happened on the ice in those two preseason games, like all that went on, if you can if in your brain somehow it turns to Trump and MAGA, you might want to stay off the internet for give it a week, man. Just go to the beach, take a vacation. Like if you were watching all that fighting and somehow got to politics, I mean it on a human level. It's like, no, man, come on now. Jeez.